On the fifth morning of the lockdown, 4 of us walked out of Blackridge State University. The rules said we had 2 more days. The rules said the campus gates were deadly until the 7th morning. The rules also said bus 17 would take us home. By then, we'd learned something more important than any rule they sent us. Some rules keep you alive, others keep you trapped. And the worst ones do both. Day 1, the first message arrived at 9:17 on a Monday morning. I remember the exact time because Professor Weller was explaining a statistics problem I didn't understand, and I'd been staring at the digital clock above the lecture hall door, counting the minutes until I could leave. My phone vibrated, then Tyler's, then every other phone in the room, not one after another, all at once. The sound moved through the lecture hall like a swarm of insects. Professor Weller stopped writing. 200 students looked down. The notification came from the university's emergency alert system. That was the first reason nobody panicked. Blackridge sent alerts for everything: thunderstorms, road closures, parking restrictions. Once they'd sent 3 separate warnings because somebody saw a black bear near the baseball field. I unlocked my phone. Blackridge State University Emergency Safety Notice Campus Lockdown is now in effect. Duration: 7 days. Students currently on university property must remain on campus until the lockdown has ended. Do not contact local authorities unless instructed. Do not attempt to leave campus. Follow the attached safety instructions precisely. Underneath was a PDF. Tyler Brooks leaned toward me. Active shooter. No. Chemical spill. No idea. Professor Weller tapped the podium. Phones away. Nobody listened. I opened the attachment. The title was Blackridge State University 7-Day Campus Safety Rules. There were 13. The first one made me laugh. Rule 1. Never answer a professor's question after lockdown begins. Tyler read over my shoulder. You finally have official permission to be stupid in class. I elbowed him. The rest weren't much better. Rule 2. When the bell rings, leave the classroom immediately, even if the professor continues teaching. Rule 3. Do not miss any scheduled class. Remain silent while class is in session. Rule 4. The library is safe. Never remain inside for longer than 2 hours. Rule 5. Your assigned dorm room is safe between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Rule 6. Nothing may enter your dorm unless someone inside opens the door. Rule 7. Never open your door during the nightly resident inspection. Rule 8. If a dorm room is marked with white tape, do not speak to anyone who lives there. Rule 9. There are no student government officers working during lockdown. If one approaches you, leave immediately. Rule 10. Never enter the university president's office. Rule 11. Never speak to anyone inside a locked bathroom stall. Rule 12. After surviving 7 days, board bus 17 outside the north gate. It will take you home. Rule 13. Do not leave campus before the 7th day. I stared at the list. Tyler whispered, "This is somebody's idea of a joke." Across the aisle, Caleb Foster had already pulled the university website up. Caleb lived with us in Hawthorne Hall. Pre-law. Perfect attendance. Perfect GPA. The sort of person who read housing contracts before signing them. The alert's legitimate, he whispered. How do you know? It's on the emergency page. Maybe someone hacked it. Caleb shook his head. Campus Wi-Fi is still running. University site works. They're telling us there's a lockdown. Yeah, but they're also telling us not to talk to toilets. Stalls. Tyler corrected me. Professor Weller stopped writing. He turned around. His eyes moved across the lecture hall. Nobody was paying attention anymore. He smiled. Not an angry smile. A patient one. Michael. A guy 3 rows ahead looked up. Professor Weller pointed at the equation on the board. Can you tell us what the next step is? Michael laughed nervously. Yeah, I think you. The lights went out. There was no explosion. No scream. Just darkness. Something hit the floor. A chair scraped. Then the lights came back. Michael was gone. His backpack was still on the floor. His laptop was open. His coffee cup was still sitting beside it. The seat was empty. The girl beside him stared at the empty chair. Professor Weller turned back to the board. Good. Nobody moved. A woman near the rear doors started crying. Professor Weller continued his lecture. Not one person spoke. My phone suddenly felt very heavy in my hand. Tyler didn't joke again. For the next 48 minutes, Professor Weller taught like nothing had happened. When the bell rang, he didn't stop. He erased the board. Before you leave, I want everyone to write down. Caleb stood. I followed. Tyler was right behind me. Half the room moved. Professor Weller's voice sharpened. We are not finished. Rule 2. When the bell rings, leave immediately. I didn't look back. We were almost at the door when Professor Weller shouted, Mason, my name. Every muscle in my body locked. Mason Reed. I wanted to turn. I wanted to answer. Tyler grabbed the back of my jacket. Keep walking. We left. Behind us, Professor Weller kept calling my name. By noon, the university had changed. Not physically. The same brick buildings surrounded the quad. Same yellow leaves blowing across the sidewalks. Same coffee shop. Same fountain. But nobody behaved normally anymore. Students moved in groups. People whispered outside classrooms, but went silent the instant they stepped inside. Nobody knew where Michael had gone. There was no police response. No sirens. Calls to 911 didn't connect. The emergency number for campus security played a recorded message. Please follow all current Blackridge safety rules. Our group met in the library. There were 6 of us. Me, Tyler, Caleb, Eli Mercer, Noah Grant, Jordan Hayes. Eli lived in our dorm, but was rarely there. Computer science major. The kind of person who could spend 3 hours explaining why everybody else had asked the wrong question. Noah was built like a linebacker, and actually nice enough that nobody hated him for it. Jordan didn't live with us, but she'd been friends with Tyler since freshman orientation. Biology major, skeptical of everything. She dropped her backpack on the table. This is mass hysteria. Noah looked at her. Michael disappeared. I saw him disappear. That's usually enough evidence for me. Jordan lowered her voice. We saw the lights go out, and then he wasn't there. Tyler stared. What's the alternate explanation? I don't have one yet. Caleb held up his phone. We don't need one. We have instructions. Jordan gave him a look. You're going to blindly follow 13 rules sent by whoever is controlling the university network. One of them already worked. 1. Eli opened his notebook. He wrote 3 headings. Confirmed, unconfirmed, contradicted, underconfirmed. Rule 1. Rule 2. Jordan nodded. That I can work with. Caleb frowned. What are you doing? Separating evidence from instructions. The instructions are evidence. No. They're claims. Caleb leaned back. That attitude will get somebody killed. Eli didn't look up. Blind trust might do the same. That was the first argument. It wouldn't be the last. The library reached capacity by afternoon. Everyone had decided Rule 4 was the easiest one. The library is safe. Students sat on the floor, in stairwells, between shelves. Nobody wanted to leave. Jordan set a timer. 1 hour, 50 minutes. We leave at 1:55, she said. Tyler stared at her. Why 5 minutes early? Because if the rule is accurate to the second, I don't want to test the doorway at 2 hours. At 1 hour 57, we packed. A freshman at the next table looked up. You guys leaving? 2-hour rule, Noah said. The freshman smiled. Nothing's happened. Caleb pointed to his phone. Yet. The kid shrugged. I'm staying. We left. Jordan waited outside. Her timer hit 2 hours. Nothing. Tyler exhaled. See? Then the glass doors behind us changed. The shelves inside the library moved, not fell, moved, slowly sliding across the floor. Rows rearranged themselves. The freshman stood. His table was suddenly surrounded by bookshelves. He ran toward the exit. The entrance appeared to move farther away from him. He ran harder. The space stretched. He screamed something we couldn't hear through the glass. For us, he was maybe 20 feet away. For him, the library had become miles long. He kept running. Eventually, we walked away. I can still see him running between the shelves. We ate dinner at the dining hall. Nobody took a table alone. Nobody talked about classes. Nobody knew what the lockdown was. At 7:30, Caleb told us we needed to return to Hawthorne. Rule 5. Dorm safe between 8 and 8. By 7:55, the halls were crowded. Everybody seemed to have the same idea. Our room was 512. 6 beds. Old building. Pipes that knocked when somebody showered. Paint so thick on the windows they barely opened. Nothing had ever looked more comforting. Noah locked the door. Tyler dropped onto his bed. So we're safe. Eli shook his head. Safe doesn't mean safe. Tyler stared at him. Can you say one normal thing? Rule 6 says, nothing can enter unless someone inside opens the door. So the danger isn't necessarily outside. Silence. Jordan sat up. He's right. Caleb groaned. Can we not manufacture threats? Eli pointed around the room. By tomorrow, if one of us has been replaced, Rule 6 becomes useless. Noah laughed. Replaced by what? Nobody answered. Eli took a marker and wrote on the whiteboard, where did we eat after moving? Tyler grinned. Ricky's. That's the answer. Jordan nodded. Verification question. Caleb stared. This is ridiculous. Then you'll have no problem answering. Caleb sighed. Ricky's. Everyone answered. Ricky's. A 24-hour diner off Route 6. We had gone there our first week. The waitress had spilled syrup on Noah. Only us. Nobody else knew. At 11:17 p.m., somebody knocked. 3 soft knocks. Everyone stopped breathing. A woman's voice came from the hallway. Resident. Check. Noah stood automatically. Caleb grabbed him. Rule 7. Never open during resident inspection. The woman knocked again. Resident check. We stayed silent. Then she said, Noah. Noah's face changed. Your mother called the front desk. His hand moved toward the lock. I caught his wrist. How would she know your mom? His breathing quickened. Outside. Noah, sweetheart. She said it's urgent. Tyler whispered, your mom doesn't call the front desk. The voice repeated Noah's name. Then mine. Then Caleb's. Then Eli's. Then Tyler's. Then Jordan's. One by one. Perfect pronunciation. Finally, we can hear you breathing. The knocking became harder. Boom, boom, boom. The door bent inward. Not enough to break. Just enough that the frame creaked. Noah backed away. 10 minutes later, the footsteps moved to the next room. We heard another knock. Then a male voice. It's probably just an RA. A lock clicked. Someone screamed. Another scream. Then 5 seconds of absolute chaos. Something slammed against the wall. Then nothing. Nobody in our room slept. At 8 the next morning, we opened the door. Room 517 across the hallway had a strip of white tape across it. Day 2 for students walked out of room 517, laughing. One held a toothbrush. One complained about being late. One asked another if she'd finished her chemistry assignment. Tyler stood beside me. What the hell? They had screamed. We had heard them. Now they looked normal. The girl who had opened the door the previous night glanced at me. Warning. Rule 8. If a dorm room is marked with white tape, do not speak to anyone who lives there. I looked away. She stopped walking. Mason. I kept moving. Mason. I had never met her. She knew my name. Noah disappeared after lunch. We were crossing the quad when Eli noticed 3 people walking toward us. College hoodies, khakis, university ID badges. The badges read, Blackridge Student Government Rule 9. There are no student government officers working during lockdown. One of them smiled. Hey, everyone, we need you to check in. Nobody answered. We changed direction. They followed. It's mandatory, Eli whispered. Don't run yet. Another officer came around the side of the student union. Noah swore. We ran. People scattered. One student government officer pointed at Noah. Noah was slower, changing direction. 2 grabbed him. I turned. Mason, Noah shouted. Tyler pulled me back. The 3rd officer carried a black box. It looked like an archive box. Cardboard, about the size you'd store tax documents in. He opened the lid. Noah fought. One officer grabbed Noah's arm. The arm bent. Folded. Not broke. Folded. Like paper. Noah screamed. His entire body collapsed inward. Shoulders, legs, torso, smaller and smaller, until they pushed him into the box. The officer closed the lid. A label appeared. Noah Grant Hawthorne, 512. I vomited behind a bench. At 8:52 p.m., someone knocked on our dorm. Not inspection time. A familiar voice. Guys. Tyler stood. No. Guys. Open up. Noah. Jordan went pale. Caleb approached the door. Noah. Eli grabbed him. Don't. Noah laughed from the hallway. Very funny. Open the door. Caleb whispered. We saw him. I know what we saw. Noah knocked. Come on. They grabbed me, but I got away. Eli looked at the whiteboard. The question. He stepped close enough to the door to speak. Noah. Yeah. Where did we eat after moving? Silence. Then, seriously. Answer. Ricky's. For 1 second, relief hit me. Then Eli asked, what happened there? Another pause. Tyler threw up. Tyler's expression changed. He hadn't. Noah had spilled syrup on himself. Outside, Noah chuckled. Okay. Miller's. Whatever. Open the damn door. Nobody moved. The knob turned. Once. Twice. Then Noah whispered, open it. His voice was lower. Open the door, Mason. I looked under the door. 2 shoes. No shadow. The hallway light was directly behind him. No shadow. Noah stayed outside until sunrise. At some point, he stopped knocking. He just stood there. When we opened the door at 8, he was gone. That afternoon, I saw Noah sitting in my psychology class, 2 rows ahead, taking notes. Normal. Professor Daniels called on him. Noah answered. Rule 1. The lights flickered. Noah's body rose from his seat. His neck bent. Something invisible pulled him upward. He hung near the ceiling for nearly a minute, then dropped. He stood, picked up his backpack, and walked away. Dead students could still break rules. They could still be punished. They just didn't stay dead. That bothered me more than anything else. I found Dean Rebecca Shaw because Noah followed me. I had left class and noticed him half a block behind me. Same distance, same pace. Every turn I made, he made. I entered the administration building. He followed. I ran upstairs. A door opened. A woman grabbed my sleeve and pulled me inside. Dean Shaw, Associate Dean of Students. I'd met her once during orientation. She closed the door, put a finger to her lips, then wrote on a legal pad. Don't speak here. I nodded. Through the frosted window, Noah's silhouette appeared. He stopped outside. I wrote, he won't leave. Shaw stared at the door, then wrote, President's office. I froze. Rule 10. Never enter the university president's office. I wrote, Rule 10. Shaw's pen moved. Some rules are not for you. I read it twice. she underlined. Not for you. Then pointed upstairs. The president's office was on the 4th floor. The hallway was empty. Noah followed. I reached the door. Gold lettering. Dr. Marcus Vale, University President. My hand hovered over the handle. If Shaw was wrong, I could die. If the rule was right, I could die. Noah turned the corner. He smiled. Mason. I opened the door. The office wasn't there. No desk, no furniture, no windows. Just darkness. Not an unlit room. A darkness that seemed deeper than the size of the building. Noah stopped. His smile disappeared. No. For the first time, he looked afraid. Something inside the darkness moved. Noah tried to run. An invisible force caught him. He screamed. His fingers clawed the carpet. His body stretched toward the doorway. Then he vanished into the black. I slammed the door. The gold lettering remained. President's office. My phone still showed Rule 10. Never enter the university president's office. The rule was false. Or at least false for me. That changed everything. Day 3, Eli made a new category in his notebook. False or hostile rule. 10 went under it. Caleb objected. We don't know why it says not to enter. It saved Mason, Jordan said. Maybe it does something later. Tyler groaned. You could justify anything that way. Caleb looked at us. Rules 1 through 9 have all protected us. Rule 9 told us student government was dangerous, Eli said. That doesn't prove 12 or 13. Caleb pointed at the notebook. This is how people die. They survive 3 days and decide they're smarter than the system. Jordan leaned forward. What if the system doesn't want us to survive? Nobody answered. That question stayed with me. I returned to the administration building. Dean Shaw was gone. Her office door was open. Inside was empty. No papers. No computer. No furniture. Her nameplate had been removed. I asked the receptionist where she was. Who? Dean Shaw. The receptionist frowned. We don't have a Dean Shaw. My stomach dropped. I checked the university directory. Nothing. It was as if she had never existed. That was the first time I understood the campus could erase more than bodies. The bathroom voice found me that afternoon. 3rd floor of the library. I went inside because I genuinely had to use it. 4 stalls. The 3rd was locked. I heard someone breathing. Rule 11. Never speak to anyone inside a locked bathroom stall. I washed my hands. A voice behind the stall said, You found out, didn't you? I froze. Male. Young. About the office. I didn't answer. The voice laughed softly. Good. I turned toward the door. Don't leave yet. Still no answer. Talking is against the rules. I looked at the mirror, pulled a marker from my backpack, wrote, Who are you? The stall went silent. Then, smarter than the last group, my mouth went dry. I wrote, How do we leave? The voice answered immediately. Not on the 7th day. I stared. Rule 12. After surviving 7 days, bus 17 takes you home. Rule 13. Do not leave before day 7. I wrote, WHY. Because 7 belongs to them. Who is them? No answer. I wrote, Bus 17. The voice laughed. Don't take 17. Then the bathroom lights flickered. Steam appeared across the mirror. Numbers formed slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I took a photo. When I checked my phone outside, the image showed only a blank mirror. Jordan refused to trust the bathroom voice. Good. We needed somebody not to. Maybe the bathroom wants you to break Rule 13. Maybe President's office saved you, because it's trying to make you trust contradictions. Maybe. Eli watched us. Jordan picked up an empty plastic bottle. We test the campus. That afternoon, she threw the bottle through the front gate. Nothing happened. A squirrel ran through. Nothing. Birds flew over the fence. Nothing. A groundskeeping cart rolled through the gate unattended. Nothing. Then a student tried to leave. He stepped across the boundary. A red jacket appeared behind him. A person. Tall. Resident life jacket. Face hidden beneath the hood. The student made it 5 steps. The red rod touched his shoulder. Both vanished. Jordan stared. The campus isn't closed. Eli nodded. We are. Jordan spent the rest of day 3 testing. She borrowed another student's ID, changed jackets, covered her face. At 6:10 p.m., she approached the west gate. We watched from 20 yards away. She scanned the borrowed card at the pedestrian exit. Green. The gate opened. She looked back at us, smiled, then stepped through. Nothing happened. 1 step. 2, 3. Jordan turned toward the street. We can. A student government officer appeared across the road. Outside campus. That wasn't supposed to happen. Jordan ran. 2 more officers appeared. One held an archive box. Jordan looked back at me. Mason. I ran toward the gate. Eli grabbed me. Jordan reached the road. The officer opened the box. Jordan's body folded. Her scream lasted less than a second. The box closed. Her borrowed ID landed on the pavement. By the time I looked at Eli again, he was crying, quietly. I'd never seen him cry. That night, he wrote in his notebook, "The system can adapt." Day 4, by the 4th morning, the campus looked less crowded. That frightened us. At first the library had been packed. Now there were empty tables. Empty tables meant fewer living students. The dead still attended class, still ate, still walked to quad. So you couldn't judge survival by how many people you saw. Eli started testing people with questions, small memories, things dead students often got wrong. Which professor changed classrooms last month? What restaurant closed near campus? Who won the intramural game? The dead remembered broad facts. They failed details, like a copy made from damaged data. At noon, I returned to stall 3. The voice didn't answer for 20 minutes. I slid a sheet of paper beneath the stall. When do we leave? The paper slid back. Nothing written. Then the voice spoke. When the campus is asleep, I wrote. Time. No answer. Then steam formed. Look at the moon at 4. The steam disappeared. I ran back to Eli. He stared at the clues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Day 5 missing. 4 in the morning. He rubbed his face. 5 got out. Tyler frowned. What? The number 5 isn't there. That could mean anything. It could. Caleb crossed his arms. And you want to risk everyone's life on missing arithmetic? Eli looked at him. Rule 10 was false. Rule 10 was dangerous for the dead thing chasing Mason. We don't know what it does to us. Us. 17 is probably false. According to a voice in a bathroom, who knew about the president's office. Caleb shook his head. No. The word sounded final. I had known Caleb almost 2 years. I'd never heard him sound afraid. Now he was terrified, not of monsters, of uncertainty. Caleb needed the rules to be real, because the alternative was worse. If the rules were lies, then every safe choice he'd made could have been part of something else's plan. He pointed toward Eli's notebook. Every confirmed rule we've obeyed has kept us alive. Eli replied. And what if the last 2 are there to make sure we never leave? You don't know that? No. Eli closed the notebook. I don't. That shut us up. He looked around the room. I'm done pretending certainty is the same thing as intelligence. We decided to leave at 4 a.m. on day 5. Caleb refused. Tyler argued for almost an hour. Caleb wouldn't change his mind. At 3:30 that night, we packed. Only essentials. Phones, water, jackets. Eli told us not to bring food. The bathroom voice had warned that something outside responded to smell. We didn't know if that part was true. By then, we couldn't afford to ignore clues just because we didn't understand them. Caleb sat on his bed. I zipped my backpack. You can still come. No. What if day 7 is the trap? What if day 5 is? I had nothing. Caleb looked toward the door. If you're wrong, come back before 8. We probably won't be able to. He nodded. I know. He handed me his flashlight. Then he held out his hand. I shook it. I hope you're right, he said. I hope you're right. That was the last time I saw Caleb Foster. At 3:59 a.m., Eli opened the dorm door. The hallway was empty. No white room students. No inspection. Emergency lights glowed red along the walls. We stepped out. Me, Tyler, Eli, and Grace Miller. A girl from the 4th floor who had lost every roommate by day 3. Grace barely spoke anymore. We reached the stairwell. At the end of the 5th floor hallway stood a person in a red resident life jacket. The red raw. Its hood covered its face. Tyler stopped. Don't run, Eli whispered. A rule we'd gotten from another survivor said, if you see an RA wearing red after midnight, walk to the lobby desk. Do not look back. We walked. Slowly. Behind us. Footsteps. One for every step we took. Tyler's breathing got louder. It's right behind us. Keep walking. The lobby was 30 feet away. 2010. Something breathed beside my ear. I wanted to turn. Every instinct demanded it. Grace started crying. Eli said, forward. We reached the lobby desk. The footsteps stopped. I counted to 5. Turned. The hallway was empty. Outside, the moon was enormous. 4:08 a.m. Blackridge State looked dead. No windows lit. No cars. No birds. Not even wind. We walked toward the north gate. I kept expecting student government. The night inspector. Noah. Jordan. Anything. Nothing came. At 4:17, we reached the gate. Open. Rule 13. Do not leave campus before the 7th day. Nobody moved. Tyler said, well, Eli looked at me. I don't know why I went first. Maybe because the bathroom voice had spoken to me. Maybe because Jordan had already died testing our theories. Maybe because somebody had to. I stepped over the line. Nothing. Another step. Nothing. I turned. Come on. Tyler crossed. Grace. Eli. We stood outside Blackridge. Alive. Tyler laughed. Then cried. Then laughed again. Rule 13 was false. For one beautiful moment, I thought it was over. Then Eli looked down the road. 3 university shuttle buses waited at the stop. 16, 17, 18. The bus's bus. 17's door opened. The driver leaned toward us. Blackridge. Nobody answered. 7-day evacuation. It wasn't day 7. His smile widened. Come on. I'll take you home. Rule 12. The bathroom voice. Don't take 17. We walked past it. The driver's face followed us through the windshield. Bus 16 and bus 18 waited farther down. No drivers visible. Grace whispered. Which one? Eli pulled out his notebook. For the first time since the lockdown began, he looked completely lost. We don't know. Tyler stared at him. What do you mean, you don't know? I mean, there's not enough information. You always know. No. His voice cracked. I don't. That scared me more than anything. Eli sat on the bench. We know 17 is bad. Maybe. Grace looked at me. What if the stall lied? Nobody answered. Eli flipped through his notes. 3 buses. 16, 17, 18. All the clues. Nothing. Finally, he closed the notebook. We split. Tyler immediately said, no. If we all choose one, and it's wrong, all 4 disappear. So we guess separately. 2 and 2. Grace sat beside Eli. I'll take 16. Eli nodded. I'll go with you. I looked at him. No, Mason. We came this far together, and that's why somebody has to remember. Remember what? That we were here. I hated him for saying it. Tyler opened bus 18. I'm taking this one. I turned. You sure? He looked at me. I've already watched too many people disappear. Then he stepped inside. I am not splitting up again. I looked back at Eli. He held out his notebook. I didn't take it. Keep it. Why? Because if you survive, you'll need it. He smiled faintly. And if you survive, I'll write another one. Grace boarded bus 16. Eli put one foot on the step, then turned. If I'm wrong, somebody has to remember I existed. I wanted to tell him that was stupid. Instead, I said, I will. The buses started at exactly 5 a.m. Bus 16 turned left. Bus 18 turned right. Bus 17 remained parked outside Blackridge. As we drove away, I looked through the rear window. The driver of bus 17 was standing in the road, watching us, smiling. Home. I woke because Tyler's head was on my shoulder. Sunlight, warm, birds, cars. I jerked upright. We weren't on the bus. We were sitting on a bench at a campus shuttle stop. Blackridge, normal Blackridge, students carrying coffee. A girl jogging. Someone complaining about an exam. Tyler woke. What? He looked around, then grabbed me. We made it. I checked my phone. Saturday, 8:12 a.m. My heart stopped. The lockdown had begun Monday. 5 days should have passed. My calendar said the previous night had been Friday. According to my phone, we'd disappeared for less than 12 hours. Tyler checked his. Same thing. We ran. The north gate was open. No buses. No emergency signs. No student government officers. I stopped a student. What happened to the lockdown? He stared. What lockdown? The university lockdown. No idea what you're talking about. Tyler grabbed my shoulder. Mason. Wait. I searched the university emergency page. No alert. No 7-day rules. Nothing. We ran to Hawthorne. Room 512. I opened the door. 4 guys looked at me. None were Noah. None were Caleb. None were Eli. One took off his headphones. Can we help you? I live here. He laughed. No, you don't. Tyler stepped inside. Where's Eli? Blank looks. Eli who? Eli Mercer. Nothing. Noah Grant. Nothing. Caleb Foster. One of them shook his head. Dude, are you okay? My hands shook. I searched the university directory. Eli Mercer, no results. Caleb Foster, no results. Noah Grant, no results. Jordan Hayes, Haysar, no results. Tyler opened Instagram. Nothing. Facebook, nothing. Messages. Our dorm group chat existed, but only 2 members remained. Mason Reed, Tyler Brooks. All of Eli's messages were gone. Caleb's, Noah's, every conversation adjusted around the holes. I opened a photo from Movin. There should have been 6 of us outside Ricky's diner. The picture showed me and Tyler. 2 empty chairs. The framing looked natural, like nobody else had ever been there. Tyler started breathing too fast. We didn't make them up. I know. We didn't. I know. Then where are they? I couldn't answer. My mother called 10 minutes later. Where the hell are you? Mom, you didn't answer your phone all night. All week. Silence. What? I looked at Tyler. How long have I been gone? Since last night, apparently. Your roommate, Tyler's mother, called too. Your RA said, neither of you came back. What about Eli? Who? I hung up. We checked room 517. No white tape. A student opened the door. Yeah. Did Caleb Foster ever live on this floor? No. Last semester? No. Do you know Noah Grant? No. Every person we asked had the same answer. The names meant nothing. We checked old class rosters. No Jordan, no Eli, no Caleb, no Noah, as if the world had been written without them. Then I remembered Dean Shaw. No record, of course. People who disappeared from the other Blackridge didn't die. They were removed, not from our bodies, from our history. Bus 16 didn't exist. That was the next thing we discovered. Blackridge Transportation had buses 12 through 15. Then 17 to Zoitu, to Zenovi. New Dezesses. Tyler stared at the route map. So Eli got on a bus that doesn't exist. Maybe it existed there. Where is there? I didn't know. He pointed at bus 18. We came back. Yes. So maybe 16 went somewhere else. I wanted to believe that. I still do. Maybe Eli and Grace woke up in another Blackridge. Maybe in our world, Tyler and I never existed. Maybe Eli is searching for me the same way I searched for him. That possibility was better than the alternative. At 11:32 a.m., both our phones vibrated. Same time, same notification. Blackridge State University campus safety notice. Tyler looked at me. No. I opened it. There were no 13 rules, just one sentence. Do not tell anyone where you were. Below it, failure to comply may affect reintegration. Tyler whispered. Reintegration. Across the quad, a student government table had been set up. Normal students, normal flyers, normal university banner. A girl at the booth turned toward us. She wore a Blackridge student government badge. She smiled, then recognized us. Her smile disappeared. Tyler grabbed my arm. We walked away. 3 months later, we didn't tell anyone. Not the police, not our parents, not campus security. Who would believe us? We tried once. Tyler started explaining it to his sister. Halfway through, his nose began bleeding. His phone vibrated. Remember Rule 1? There was no Rule 1 anymore. He stopped talking. The bleeding stopped. After that, we kept quiet. I wrote everything down instead. Names, rules, dates, things I couldn't afford to forget, because forgetting began almost immediately. First, I forgot Jordan's voice. I remembered what she said. I remembered arguments, but I couldn't hear her anymore. Then Noah's face became difficult. I could picture his body, his university hoodie, his smile. But every time I tried to see the details, they blurred. Caleb lasted longer, maybe because our final conversation had been so clear. Eventually, I couldn't remember whether his hair was dark or blonde. Eli frightened me most. I remembered Eli perfectly. Then one morning, I looked at his name in my notebook and felt nothing. No face, no voice, just Eli Mercer. I panicked. I opened every document I'd written. Some had changed. One page used to say, Eli Mercer was real. Caleb Foster was real. Noah Grant was real. Jordan Hayes was real. Now it only said, Eli Mercer was real. I stared at the empty space below it. I knew other names belonged there. I just couldn't remember them. I called Tyler. Tell me everyone's names. Silence. Mason. Tell me. I remember Eli. Who else? Another pause. I don't know. We sat on the phone for a long time. Neither of us spoke. That night, I wrote Eli's name on my wall, on my desk, inside my closet, on the back of my phone case. Eli Mercer was real. I didn't know how long that would work. At 10:54 p.m., another university alert appeared. This one looked normal. Blackridge State University fall break begins tomorrow. Students remaining on campus should review the attached safety instructions. My stomach dropped. There was an attachment. 13 rules for students remaining on campus. I didn't open it. I threw my phone onto the bed. Called Tyler. No answer. Again. Nothing. I grabbed my jacket. Then somebody knocked on my dorm door. 2 soft knocks. I stopped. The clock beside my bed read 11:17 p.m. A woman's voice came from the hallway. Resident check. My phone vibrated. The attachment opened by itself. 13 rules filled the screen. Most were new. I didn't read them. I only saw the final one. Rule 13. If you remember someone the university has forgotten, do not allow them inside. Another knock. Mason. My blood turned cold. I knew that voice, not because I could place it, because somewhere beneath the missing memories, my body remembered before my mind did. Mason. I walked toward the door. The voice outside laughed softly. You promised. My hand stopped above the lock. A face appeared in my mind. For less than a second. Dark hair. Tired eyes. Notebook under one arm. Eli. I stumbled backward. Outside. If I'm wrong, somebody has to remember I existed. My eyes filled with tears. Eli. Silence. Then, yeah, I almost opened the door. Then I looked at the phone. Rule 13. If you remember someone the university has forgotten, do not allow them inside. I stared at the lock. The first lockdown had taught me the only lesson that mattered. Rules could save you. Rules could lie. And sometimes there was no way to know which kind you were reading until somebody died. Eli knocked again. Mason. I closed my eyes. What bus did you take? Silence. Then, 16. My heart slammed against my ribs. What did Tyler say before we split up? Another pause. I don't know. Wrong. He should have known. Eli had been standing there. Tyler had said he wasn't splitting up again. Outside, the voice changed. Barely. Mason. I backed away from the door. What did you write in the notebook on day 3? Nothing. Then the doorknob slowly turned. Locked. Rule 6 from the first lockdown came back to me. Nothing can enter unless someone inside opens the door. The thing outside tried the handle again. Mason. It sounded angry now. Open the door. I sat on the floor, didn't move. The knocking became louder. Boom, boom, boom. The door bent inward, then returned to shape, just like before. I looked at the 13 new rules. Maybe they were lies. Maybe that really was Eli. Maybe I was leaving my best chance to bring him back standing in the hallway. That was the cruelty of Blackridge. It didn't need to kill you. It only had to make every choice feel like murder. At midnight, the knocking stopped. Footsteps moved away. I waited until morning. At 8 a.m., I opened the door. The hallway was empty. On the carpet was a black notebook. Eli's notebook. I knew it instantly. I picked it up. Every page was blank, except the final one. One sentence, written in Eli's handwriting. You took the wrong bus. Below it, day 1 begins Monday. My phone vibrated. Across Blackridge State University, every phone began vibrating at exactly the same time. And somewhere down the hall, someone laughed.